We're Batman at 89. Greetings, citizens of Gotham, and welcome once again to Batminute 89, the show that won't retire for another 3 or 4 years because we're investigating the Batman movies 1 minute at a time. I am one of your hosts, John Parker.
I am the other host, Niall McGowan.
Hello.
Yeah, hey John, how's it hanging?
Pretty good, because we have a very special guest. We are joined by the wonderful Travis Bowe of Watchmen Minute.
Hello there.
Oh my God, was that an Obi-Wan?
Yeah, General Bo.
Oh, that's made my day. Could we get off to a better start than that? But yes, thank you for joining us for minute 113. We're all the way here somehow. Oh my God. And the minute starts with the goons finally ready for extraction of their master, and it ends with said extraction potentially being foiled.
I will say that, because if we jump straight in, we've got the helicopter approaching, going through the spotlights and stuff. Although this made me instantly think, okay, the Joker this has been 10 minutes then, I guess, since this is supposed to... What I am thinking, though, is... So the Joker's helicopter showing up, the police searchlights are just down there doing nothing, essentially. All they're doing is providing light for the actual finale.
What else are searchlights supposed to do?
But the thing is, where's the police not got any helicopters? Where are they? You should have been like, oh, we can't get up to the church tower. Gordon's on the horn going, get the helicopter out. We can get him up there. It doesn't make... Unless they show up after everything's done. And it's just like, oh, well, I guess we'll get him next time. He's dead. Oh, yeah. I guess we can't get him next time because he's dead. But
They're like a British police force. They're underfunded. They don't have helicopters.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't seem like we haven't seen any evidence that the Gotham police have any air support. You know,
No.
You'd think with all the balloons earlier and all that stuff, where are the police helicopters? So.
And he's a very suspicious kind of chap who clearly works for a criminal organization. I mean, you could maybe say, oh well, the cops are in the pocket of the gangsters, but. I don't buy it. I don't see Joker sending guys to buy them out. No, Gordon's not. Certainly.
The thing is, we did know that the city was going into the red to fund the bicentennial parade. It could be that maybe the city only has 4 cops left because they've had to fire everybody else to pay for all the hot dogs and balloons and stuff. And then it was that crack team that showed up, after the Batwing crashed. That was them. They were 5 miles away when the parade was happening, and they just heard, and they're like, "Oh, we're the only cops we've got. We better get over there." And by the time they landed, oh well, it's all over. Oh well.
Well, from now on, in my headcanon, Joker got this helicopter in the first place by buying it from the cops because they had to sell it. The government had to sell it in order to fund the hot dogs for the parade. Because that's a lot of hot dogs for one chopper. I'm telling you.
The thing is that all this hot dog talk. We have not seen one hot dog this whole damn movie. That was the money was all for naught. That was complete waste of public funds.
The last shot of the film should just be a hot dog on the street.
Or just examining the Joker's body, just Gordon wolfing down a hot dog.
But we should probably talk about the actual minute we're in.
Oh, because we get the goons show up. We get the triumphant return of Jack Nicholson hater Mac McDonald.
Yeah, I get the impression he'd like to land this chopper on top of Jack Nicholson.
Yeah. This is well, is it the Batman's grapple thing that actually fells the Joker? Or is it just that Mac McDonald wasn't really trying hard to help him out?
Oh, is there some history there?
Yeah, we had an interview with him. We didn't interview him.
No, not us, no.
But we read an interview with him, and he was the only person who had anything bad to say about Jack Nicholson. He was just
oh wow,
no, me and him.
And he's one of the guys in the chopper.
Yeah. The thing is, the other guy is simply known as Helicopter Goon. And I looked him up because he has his own wiki page and portrayed by unknown.
Oh,
but I was like, well, what's the point of this Wikipedia page then? And I went down, and the actual description they have here, it says, that man was one of the Joker's many goons. He was ugly, even by the standards of the gang, with buck teeth and a wedge-shaped head. I was like, Jesus, what the hell have they got against this guy?
Oh, that's horrible.
It's kind of like I couldn't read the rest of the article because the amount of shade that was been thrown on it. It was insane.
Wow.
It's good. Like Mac McDonald hated this guy as well. He wrote the Wikipedia entry.
Yeah.
And then in his is just like the overweight Joker goon. He was the coolest goon and loved by the whole gang.
Like, when you see the top of the cathedral here from afar, right, do cathedrals have this, like, little bit at the top? It looks very strange to me. This, because it's like a tower, but then there's, I don't really know what you'd call this, a palisade? You know, it's like where you can walk around, it juts out. Like, what's the purpose of this little bit?
Well, yeah, it is actually quite strange, because this is why I guess we're up on the bell tower, and then it's like a little porch or something that juts out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is weird. Yeah.
It's odd. I've not been up many cathedrals. I mean, I'm scared of heights. This is the problem. So I've been up to the top of the Berliner Dom in Berlin, and that terrified the crap out of me anyway. So I don't know. Maybe this is normal.
Yeah. But I never actually thought about it. But maybe it was just like it was just one of Anton Furst's sort of like, this will be the style he liked.
Yeah, I'm sure it was probably, design over, I guess, form over function. It looks nice and gothic and all that. Because there's also, like, it seems like above the bell tower or bell, the room, which looks like a little cottage, like, sitting on top of this tower. And then above that, appears to be it just continues, jutting up into the sky.
An additional steeple atop the steeple.
Yeah.
Stuff like
That's
that.
what confused me, that bit. Like, what's up there?
That's where they keep all the extra chairs and
Yeah.
stuff like
All the way up there.
and all the old like communion wafers and stuff. That's all moldy, so nobody wants to go up there anymore because it absolutely reeks.
Or there's, you could store relics up there.
Yeah. It could be like this Indiana Jones going to end up there at some point.
Now we need an Indy and a Batman crossover.
I'm surprised
Oh,
actually
my
that
God.
hasn't been attempted in the. Oh, actually, no, I understand why. It's because Indiana Jones is set in like the 1930s and stuff. And I guess
Yeah, but the comic books can do whatever they want. They've set
Right.
Batman in bloody Victorian times.
what I would be intrigued by, I would like to see a spin. You could make it work if you did Indiana Jones a bit older and he's encountering the Adam West Batman, because that would be.
Nice, yeah.
That would just be like, such a juxtaposition of like really cool action hero meeting really lame one. But then the fact that Indiana Jones would be that old at that point, it's not as if he could do much better than Adam West himself. So,
Well,
yeah.
isn't the new one, new as of recording, Indiana Jones 5, the one coming out, is that not going to be in the 60s?
oh, the thing is though, Adam West is unfortunately passed, so we can't really go into Lucasfilm and be like, guys, we have got a hell of a pitch for you.
Niall, they CGI'd Tarkin, so,
That would be like the greatest reveal if people are sitting watching like the new Indiana Jones and all of a sudden the CGI Adam West shows up and everyone is just like, what does this got to do with anything? And he's like, we have to go to the Gotham Cathedral, and everyone's like, that's the cathedral from the 1989 movie, what the hell is happening?
Yeah.
it would still make more sense than a CGI gopher starting an Indiana Jones movie. And I don't even hate that film, but
Well, that's the thing. So my defense of it is always like, well, the first like half an hour is pretty good, but that actual first shot is terrible as well. It's kind of like, the first minute is bad, then it's good for like 29 minutes, and then as soon as they introduce John Hurt's character into it, I think it really goes off the rails. For some,
no offense to John Hurt.
yeah, that's the most bizarre thing. Like one of the greatest actors who ever lived, John Hurt. Somehow his presence like kickstarts the downfall of an Indiana Jones movie. And I don't think it's not particularly his performance in it. It's just more the film itself just goes off the rails. But
It's been a long time since I've seen that one, so I remember liking it, when I saw it in theater, and I probably haven't watched it too many more times than that. So
I think in some ways it holds up. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot worse movies at the end of the day. That's the thing.
I mean, to be fair, there's a lot worse you could sit through than that.
Well, I'll tell you what I don't hate sitting through. Joker here, he's having a good time. He's dancing away, shaking his little tush on the catwalk.
It's really.
I mean, check out those buns. It's like Van Damme.
You think that he had to get in like much like was it in Up in the Air? Vera Farmiga apparently had a stunt butt. Do you
Oh,
think
really?
this? Yeah, apparently so. Yeah. And do you think that Jack Nicholson insisted on stunt butt to come in for?
Oh,
for these
that's
shots?
That's all Jack, baby.
Pure Jack.
It's just like he was much like Tommy Wiseau. He had a very much like, damn, there's got to be a scene of me showing my ass in the movie. Like, Jack, I don't think it's really necessary. Damn, I need it to sell the movie. You need to see the Joker swing his ass about at least once.
At least he's not mooning, I suppose, because I don't want to see Joker in like a purple thong. That would be unsettling. You could actually imagine the current, the Joker from Suicide Squad in a purple thong. That's the worrying thing.
Yeah,
Totally.
very much so.
Yeah. It's funny about like just thinking about the Jack Nicholson performance here, and it's like it really, to me, it just really feels like the Joker only exists in this movie. Like when I watch this, I don't feel like I'm watching Jack Nicholson, except for like the first act of the movie, when it's him prior to going into the tank. But like once Joker shows up, I completely forget that I'm watching a performance and not just that character, because he's not Nicholson's not doing anything that I've ever seen him do, in any other movie. I mean, like The Shining, that's Jack Torrance gone mad, but it's not this zany, frothing at the mouth level of like hysterics that he reaches here. So
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, are there any other performances by him that are anywhere similar? I suppose the closest I can think of is The Shining, which is insane to think about.
I guess because I think he's a bit sleazier in Witches of Eastwick, but he is playing like the devil in it, so he's kind of hamming it up there. And in The Departed, he's really like, there's a bit where he shows up in a random cinema with a dildo on him and stuff. Like he's going pretty crazy in that as well.
Yeah.
And you get a real vibe of like, this is just Jack just throwing things in, just like, and Scorsese's like, yep, we'll work, we'll make it work, And
Right, I have not seen The Departed, believe it or not.
Oh,
and
well.
I was gonna watch it
until
on Christmas
until I
Day.
ruined the Jack.
Until you ruined it.
You're like, I can't watch that.
No, it was I was round at my partner's house on Christmas Day, and her brother decided for a Christmas Day movie to put The Departed on. Right? I was fine with that. I was like, oh, cool, I can finally watch this. And everyone else was like, why have you put this on? We're not watching this on Christmas Day. Turn it off. I was like, oh, no, we got like 15 minutes in. And I was like, no.
It's a pretty good movie.
I wanted to see more.
It's a career best performance from Mark Wahlberg in that. And actually, I think it has Vera Farmiga in it as well. So there you go.
it does,
That's a connection right there. Yeah. The Departed is actually like a really, really good movie. So yeah, highly recommend you watch it.
Plus, everything's connected, so now I have to.
But yeah, we do get the Jack still dancing about a little bit here, and then we get what happened before. Remember when the Batwing was coming towards him? There's some sort of discoloration going on between the two shots because from above it looks as if his jacket's kind of like a red color. As we see him from the other vantage point, it's the normal Joker purple. So have you looked into it? Do you know any reason why? Or
No, I couldn't find any reason. I'm assuming it's just the special effects shot. They didn't really mention it in the commentary, unsurprisingly, that I can recall. Unless I'm wrong here, it was a while ago that I actually researched, and I couldn't find any materials online. So I'm assuming it's just the special effects shot. It's not working well with his outfit, and it's like a temporary thing, and they just let it slide because it is very noticeably a different color.
I think there's a fair bit of like color correction and stuff that goes on, and after shooting and whatnot. Because I remember in like on-set shots from The Dark Knight, and you'd see like Heath Ledger's Joker, and his outfit looked way brighter in those photos, and then it seemed as if like they put whatever kind of filters and stuff over it. Like that whole film has a kind of weird blue tinge to it.
Yeah.
So I think that might have, whatever they do in post might have altered it, and for whatever reason, it just from above it looks red, And it looks red in 2 scenes as
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
so it's a consistent error, whatever it is.
And I'm a fan of clashing colours, but you don't wear a kind of reddy maroon jacket with an orange shirt. No.
No.
And I love his little. For some reason, I inexplicably love this little interaction here. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love his looking up and he does this sort of like, closes his fist in victory or something. I guess you would describe it. So.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's I know what you mean. I don't know if it's like send the ladder down kind of thing, like it's a signal for them to drop the ladder, but it does almost work like in a way, like this whole minute he's just celebrating his victory over Batman, like in literally over Batman. But it's like at this point in the movie, he's reached this almost exhausted amount of zaniness, like I want to know, what does the Joker do once he gets into this helicopter and makes it to his destination? Like I think he just gets to wherever he's going and collapses onto a bed, because like he's almost, it's kind of when you've been up too late and you're tired, but then you get that last like jolt of energy.
Oh yeah.
And for the Joker here, it's like this manic level of high energy, kind of like.
So do you think maybe he's gonna, if he escaped, he would maybe die? Like he can't live like a normal life, can he? Because he even says, "Time to retire. Feel free to drop in." Now I don't understand that, because I know the drop thing is a gag because they're hanging.
Right.
They're gonna drop.
Yeah.
But he's saying he's gonna retire. Not necessarily like from a profession, but he's retiring, to his chambers or something.
Yeah.
So what is his plan then? Like, is he's gonna stop being the Joker? What's he gonna do? I
think he's just, it's just a line. He's so committed to the performance of being the Joker that he can't even though this is a private moment between the 3 of these people, like he can't, give up the I guess the comedic performance of the Joker, and he's got to go out with silly one-liners. And
yeah, because I think to him, like this whole sort of mission he's on, in a way, I get the vibe he sees it almost as a suicide mission. Like he probably thinks, well, at the end of this, I'm probably going to die. He doesn't care. That's not his thing anymore. He's just here to do this, and that's it. And then if he dies, he dies. If he dies, he dies.
I know. I kind of got, that's a kind of philosophy that would be more in line with your kind of modern day Joker of just like he's ready to die whenever, and whatever.
Heath Ledger was that way, I think.
Yeah.
No, I don't think this one's necessarily ready. He just doesn't seem to care. Like he'll try and survive if he can, but
But no, I kind of did get a vibe of like I don't see his relationship with Batman in that Heath Ledger, or like what you see a lot in like the Arkham games and stuff now, where it's like they're almost codependent. Like the Joker needs Batman and stuff. Yeah. I kind of got a vibe from him, like if he's just like Batman's gonna fall, he's gonna die, I'm away, and I'll end up just terrorizing the city and having a great time myself anyway. Like I think he is fully intending to just go home and have a rest and then come back and do something tomorrow.
So what do you see as his end game though, or have you not? Can you not conceive of it?
I don't think he even has an end game. I think he's just like, I'm just going to keep doing this for as long as it's fun, and then but whatever happens kind of thing.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I think this Joker has a lot more of a self-preservation instinct, because towards the end of this movie he starts to he gets a little nervous with his the situation that he's in. So this isn't the Joker that would laugh at the idea of Batman sending him to his death.
I mean, we could say that we've drawn parallels between this movie and The Dark Knight in a lot of ways, because there's a lot of scenes that are quite similar. And again, this whole situation is like, having Batman pinned down in some way atop a tall building.
Yeah.
And then, this he's obviously trying to escape, and The Dark Knight he's trying to blow up the boats and stuff. But in that, yeah, but again, Batman takes care of him by essentially hurling him off the building, and in a manner. Like, he doesn't exactly do that here. But yeah, within this film, once it happens, this Joker seems genuinely very, very worried about what's happening, and he goes down screaming.
Right.
Whereas Heath Ledger's Joker is just cackling as he's falling down.
Yeah.
He seems almost disappointed when he's hauled back up. He's got to be like, kind of.
Yeah, because his whole like motivation through the Dark Knight was to try to get Batman to kill.
Yeah,
and he couldn't do that. So yeah, and that kind of leads me into one of my points. Is like I sat here and kind of watched this for the first time, in a little while. Like, there's been so much talk of like how Batman handles criminals and villains in movies, and whether or not Batman should kill. That's usually the big sticking point and everything. I've always been more on the side that Batman shouldn't take lives, and should go out of his way to keep others from dying, even if it's the Joker.
Yeah. I would agree with that myself.
Yeah,
I agree.
Like, especially, I think the best example of that is like the animated series. They always did a great job of showing him saving everyone, and obviously they have standards and practices that they can't show anyone really get killed. And it's easier, I think, for a cartoon to have a character like Batman pull off the more humanly impossible actions, like he's almost superhuman as far as leaping across buildings or lifting heavy things. So like, I understand that they are restricted more with a live action version, but it's like, if this were the animated series, Batman, and Batman is hanging off a ledge with his lady love, like he would have acted a lot quicker, and probably would have tried to save Vicky before worrying about stopping the Joker from getting away.
Yeah.
So, and obviously, like, that version hadn't been created at this point, so you can't like hold it to those standards or whatever. But it is interesting to me that Batman takes a long time to kind of devise a plan of action.
Yeah. Like a modern movie, I feel would kind of speed it along a little bit more, maybe.
Yeah.
But this, he's hanging for a long time, as is Vicky. Like, I'm impressed with that upper body strength there. I don't know how they're holding on. I'd have fell a long time ago. I mean, I work out a couple of days a week, but geez, Vicky doesn't look that strong. Not like. I mean, you could. I was going to say Batman is strong, but I mean, this Batman, is he? Is this Bruce that strong, really?
I mean, he knows how to take a beating. I've seen him do that, but I don't know.
We've seen him holding, like, he lifts up that punk in the beginning of the movie, like dangles him over the edge of the ledge, so he's able to at least hold up another full-grown man.
That's impressive.
Yeah, so I think he's got that level of strength. Like, he could probably lift 200 pounds, maybe 250, but
even so, this has got to be. Well, you can see he's struggling. They are both struggling.
For sure.
But one other thing too is just because coincidentally this week I was wandering about YouTube and I came on a random recommended video of Michael Caine on Jack Nicholson. Like Michael Caine talking about Jack Nicholson. And it kind of worked with this because, Jack Nicholson says, it's time to retire. And apparently, within the late 80s, early 90s, Michael Caine had retired. He had retired from acting altogether. He'd gone into setting up a chain of restaurants called the Michael Caine Collection.
Oh, that lasted long.
Which is like
wow.
Well, apparently it was incredibly successful. You can still go to it. It's actually it's like a high end restaurant, and that's that's like ran by Michael Caine, but his name's on it.
He's the head chef. Is that what you're telling me?
But apparently he said the reason he came out of retirement was because he's friends with Jack Nicholson, and Jack Nicholson was like, "You got to come out and do this movie for me, buddy." And apparently it was they'd never worked together, and Michael Caine's like, "Oh, I really wanted to work with Jack." And it's a film. It's actually not even all that well regarded. A movie, Blood and Wine.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
From like 1995 or 96, and that's the movie that got Michael Caine back into acting. So technically, you wouldn't have your Michael Caine Alfred if it wasn't for this Joker.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I just thought that was like, oh, that's a nice little. And also then, while I was going through, I was coming across other little bits of Jack Nicholson trivia, because we only got a few more minutes of him, so I was like, I might as well throw in a couple of tidbits here and there.
Do it.
One I knew that you would know, you would love, John. Apparently, Jack Nicholson is a big fan of pro wrestling.
Yes.
Oh, really?
And apparently his favorite wrestlers are someone called Harley Race.
Oh, yeah.
Who
Harley
I'm not-
Race.
Which is kind of weird, Harley Race, Harley Quinn.
Oh,
there you go.
everything's connected.
Yeah,
sort of.
and as we were talking about last minute, I've only discovered since I literally found this like earlier today. Big fan of Ric Flair.
Oh,
apparently,
yes.
and John Cena, which was like, oh well, not against John Cena, he just seems a bit dull. But yeah, apparently Harley Race, Ric Flair, and John Cena. Those are Jack Nicholson's wrestling guys. Really.
Remember when I was watching the wrestling, Niall, and John Cena was on, and in the background of presumably his house, he had a poster on the wall of the legend of Bagger Vance. That sums him up to me, because who the hell has a poster of Bagger Vance? Only someone as boring as John Cena.
The thing is, though, like, I kind of want to see it. We should launch like Legend of Bagger Vance minutes.
Oh, man.
Just see if we can judge John Cena on, and it could be like minute like 3, and we're like, we just wanted to get you on. We're not going to do the rest of the movie. We don't care.
Bagger Vance minute.
Hey, there's been again. I'll keep going back to it. That thing you do minute, like that's,
Oh, yeah.
they're doing it with everything. Like you can any film you can think
Well,
of.
Yeah,
They-
you
like,
better
hey, we're doing it.
better go ahead and claim put your stake in for Bagger Vance minute now.
Well, the
Someone
minute
else
of
doesn't
Bagger
get it.
Vance. The title, names itself. The minute
Yeah.
of Bagger Vance. There you go. But anyway,
Back to that the "it's time to retire" line. That's one of those, you guys have probably talked about like secret Star Wars quotes, the way that Star Wars Minute has talked about lines from Star Wars that aren't, iconic, but you use them kind of in
Yes.
daily life, And this has always been one of those lines that, since I was a kid, like if I was headed to bed, or whatever, it's time to retire, So that's just one of those lines that's always been in my life. So
yeah, I think I used to say that to my parents after seeing
Yeah.
this, and then they were like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
I think it kind of helps too, because the way he says it, it's like the most Jack Nicholson in his
to me,
enunciation.
it's very like Pleasantville, 50s, 60s era. Like you could almost picture someone, in one of those like old Leave It to Beaver type shows, telling the wife like, well, it's time to retire, and heading off to bed for the night or something like that. Just the way he reads the line, I've always.
Yeah. Then we got the goons descend the helicopter rope ladder, which is a thing like the very concept of what he's about to do absolutely terrifies me, because I'm okay with heights, but everything about this is like, Jesus, I would rather just hang on to the gargoyle for a while longer. And the thing is, it's even more kind of appropriate because like about 10 years back, I was in a boat crash, and we had a houseboat that was sinking, and we had to get in touch with like the Irish National Guard, or not the National Guard, the Coast Guard, and eventually, we got lifted by Russian tourists who were coming behind us, so we didn't need to in the end. But apparently they were planning to send a helicopter, and it would have been a situation of having to get the rope ladder down. And I know I would have been crippled between not wanting to get on it because I've been terrified, and then also wanting to do just like go into full on Joker mode and just be like, just laughing and cackling and swinging around and stuff.
Oh, that would have been absolutely perfect.
Yeah, I do have to wonder. I've always wondered: is he meant to climb this ladder and make it up into the helicopter, or are they just gonna fly off to the nearest helipad and then drop him down to safety, kind of thing, and let him then climb into the helicopter? Because
I thought the same thing, but in researching for the next minute, spoilers everyone for Friday, they are intending him to climb it because they motioned to him to come up.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
But as we're going to see, of course, in a minute, he he can't because Batman does something to stop him.
Yeah.
But yeah, they want him to come up the ladder, which to me, at least that's the plan. Because just holding on to that thing would be the most horrifying experience you could imagine.
Yeah.
I'll have to say, because as he's going, though, he's having a great time with it, to be fair.
Yeah.
And someone who does not look happy is Batman with this. It's the Michael Keaton pout gone into intense grim overdrive, where he just looks furious about this whole situation. And then we actually get big moment for us, I guess. The Joker says, like, sometimes I just kill myself. And famous last words, because that's actually the last line of dialogue that Jack Nicholson says in the movie. So,
Well, unless you count going,
yeah, I think you could argue that once Batman does grapple him, it sounds like he kind of says "Hey" at one point.
Yeah,
But,
I caught that, and
But I guess we could, in terms of a full line of actual dialogue, that's him. So
I think when he says that, he actually does look scared for one of the first times. Like, I like seeing that creep through, because he's, at the end of the day, still a man. And a villain who gets scared interests me a lot more. I think that's more interesting a character.
yeah.
And it's so, like, opposite of what we now associate with the Joker. But I'm with you. I like he's not fearless. That is kind of nice.
Like, he's trying to be. Like that's kind of the front he's putting on. But no one is utterly fearless, because he knows, like, this isn't going well. This is dangerous.
But just, I was trying to think as well, though, because this is his last line of dialogue. And then what other because I know other famous Joker, because he's died a bunch of times over various forms of media. I was thinking, because I remember in The Dark Knight Returns, I think his last words are, was it they'll never know you didn't have the nerve. I'll see you in hell, which is a hell of a way to go out. And I remember
laughing too.
The animated in the Return of the Joker, when you see him die the first time, when the classic actual Joker dies in that movie, I think is appropriately says, like, that's not funny, as he's kind of realizes he's about to die. And then, ironically enough, in the Arkham games, when he dies in that, voiced by the same guy, Mark Hamill, his last line is, that actually is pretty funny. So it's like, did they know that it was kind of like a weird mirror of what was his other last line was? And
They had to. That's too perfect.
We'll have to ask Mark Hamill, I guess, maybe. Hey, Mark, if you want to come on the show, man, you're always more than welcome.
I'd love it if we got Mark and Star Wars Minute did. He's like, I'll do Batman. I'm not doing Star Wars.
I'm scrubbing, like, between. I'm just kind of letting the minute play, like, and I'm kind of letting it go in slow motion, and I have no idea how they do the grapple effect of getting it around his foot and the gargoyle. And it's like, if you just go, like, frame by frame, it's like it.
Yeah, what the? How? Because basically, Batman fires his grappling hook at the Joker, and it traps him to the gargoyle. But in terms of movie making, yes, how have they done that effect? I don't
That's
know.
Amazing. Maybe would it be a matter of, maybe it's reversed footage? Maybe they had a thing tied onto his foot linked to the gargoyle, and then they yank it all off, and it kind of comes undone that way. And they had it rigged in a way that it would look a bit like that.
Maybe.
It is. But this is it is actually it's one of those understated effects too, because you just kind of take that as a real, like, that's how you do it. And that's what happened. But there probably was a lot of work went into that.
yeah. And there's something that comes, so once you're looking at the gargoyle and the Joker, from a kind of Batman's perspective, the bolo or grapple comes from the lower right side of the screen, but then there's something that catches the light on the left side of the screen that comes in, and I'm sure that's part of the special effects or something that is used to make it work. But I don't know. I don't know how this is working, but I'm playing it like in reverse. I'm like scrubbing back in reverse to see if it,
Yeah, I'm trying the same
seems
thing.
like it works in reverse, and even that I don't think I don't.
That's amazing.
I don't know.
Well, actually,
I'm
It's a
mystified.
testament to how great this movie is, right there.
and actually staring at the Joker's legs for so long. We'll give a little shout out again to his costuming, because you really notice his nice shoes there. He got nice
Yeah.
his black shoes with the purple spats, which is
Oh, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
a big fan of spats, so I was like, yeah, that's pretty. Everything about I love the Joker's dress sense, so it's like, yeah, everything even down to the shoes looking pretty awesome. But
Tell you what, I love spats, but I don't understand what they are. Like, why do they exist? What's the point in them? Just to look cool.
makes things look fancy.
Probably.
Yeah, maybe you can have some cheap shoes, stick some spats on them. Hey, you look fancy.
Actually, talking about the Joker's outfit, one thing we kind of skipped over there is that we do get a shot of was it Sid the Gargoyle, his discarded coat and hat. The hat blows away, obviously, in the wind.
I had a question about that because I thought, like, initially, do you think it's supposed to be foreshadowing what's about to happen to the Joker?
Ooh.
That the hat flies away, presumably to fall down to the ground.
That's kind of like the empty jacket as well. It's like he's not gonna be
Yeah.
here much longer. But I also,
Exactly.
you might recall, John, as well. We talked about way back when Jack Napier had his last battle with gravity.
Jeez, I can't remember Monday's episode.
But yeah, there was we did notice we were questioning like, oh, what happened to his hat? And you do see his hat fall into the chemicals. Like it's in the side of the screen, but it is there.
Oh, okay.
I was wondering if they was trying to mirror that. It's like, well, last time he took a tumble, you saw his hat. His hat
And they do
went
kind of
first.
hang on that
Yeah.
couple
Yeah,
frames. Like it's an odd shot. I like it. It looks nice. And you see the hat blow away, but it's almost like, what's this in here for? So yeah, you might be right. Maybe it is meant to. Maybe it's just meant to show how windy and how dangerous this is. Almost like
Yeah, I think it's both. It's killing two birds with one stone, right there.
Yeah.
You understand everything about the situation in one shot.
I mean, you don't have to try to sell me how much more dangerous this situation is. Like, I can't go up a normal ladder. Like, you don't have to emphasize it to me.
something I noticed, like just preparing for this minute, like I never considered the fact that this all would have been shot like on a soundstage. Like to me, this minute plays like they are really high up above a city. Just the combination of the lighting and the camera angles and the real helicopter that I assume that they're using, it all just works. It is probably mostly the lighting or kind of lack thereof. Like it's so dark that
That's the key to me. Yeah.
Yeah, it probably makes it easier to trick the viewer into thinking that this is really taking place, like whatever 30 stories in the air or whatever it is. But this scene, I just believe that they are in danger.
Well, that's the thing. The lighting to me is definitely the key because it can hide a multitude of sins, right? I for the first time since the cinema, since it came out, I actually watched Avatar again.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Right. I've only ever seen it one time, and I thought, you know what? I need to
I
see
feel
this
really
a
harsh,
second
too, because
time.
my first instinctual question was going to be, why?
Why? I thought that would be the Well, it's interesting to revisit these things that were like a big technical spectacle. It's like, well, how does it hold up now? Some of the effects don't, but when they're on the planet and it's dark, it looks 10 times better than any of the daytime shots. Like instantly, you stop noticing it's CGI and you buy it in the nighttime shots. The daytime shots, you're like, oh, it's too bright. No, but at night, perfectly fine. And I think it works with practical effects as well because these can sometimes look fake. I mean, look at the original Star Trek. I love it. But all the sets look fake, really fake.
Yeah.
All the rocks, all the walls. If they made that lighting a bit darker and lit it differently, I think they could hide a lot of that. Oh, actually, I had another thing about the hat, which is complete nonsense. I just wanted to know, what do you think a fall from this height would do to a hat as a hat wearer, Niall? Would it be intact down on the street? Could someone pick it up?
Oh, I say like it could be several streets over. Like the gusts of wind will carry it along.
Yeah.
'Cause, something that light. Like I can't imagine and for some reason it instantly popped into my head. There's an episode of Seinfeld where a guy's hat blows away and you see it tumbling down the street, and then because he's borrowed the coat from a production of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and you just see like a pimp cage just kind of come down on top of it, and it's Kramer just picks it up, and he's got this big multicolored coat on. He just kind of puts the hat on his head and cocks it to the side and walks away. So I can imagine that happening. Just like some guy in the street just like, ooh, and just picks up this hat. And all of a sudden he's just got the Joker's hat for the rest of his life.
So you think it would be in one piece then? It wouldn't damage it or anything?
I think it would be.
I think I could survive that. You know, I've only, like, I wear hats quite frequently. I've only ever had one blown off my head once, and it was actually quite recently. But once it was, I caught up with it, and yes, if you're wondering, it was incredibly embarrassing to have to run after a hat. But once you got it nose, it was in good shape. There was no.
But it wasn't from the top of a cathedral.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's not gonna, because it's so light, it's not gonna have like the full force of gravity.
Yeah, there's not a lot of mass there.
Yeah, so it'll just kind of drift down eventually. I imagine it'll probably could potentially end up wherever the balloons ended up, maybe. But yeah, I think it'll end up just sort of drifting to the street level, and someone could find it, like some tramp maybe, just like, ooh, what's this?
That would be a great last shot.
Yeah.
And then he starts laughing.
Nice hat.
Like, it's like, oh my God.
You find out that like secretly the hat was the Joker the whole time.
Yes.
That's a nice coat.
Oh, that'd be so good. Niall, why aren't we screenwriters? What's going on?
That's like the nice coat bit though in Batman Begins. It's the one bit that is like, I love that movie, but every time it's just like that line is, it's only there because having him just say, I'm Batman in that scene would have been just ripping off this too much. So they're like, we better add a button to differentiate ourselves. So just have him say, nice coat to the tramp.
I love that scene. I love that actor. I love that whole bit.
I do love that tramp actor, though, because the first time, it's like, oh, it's a nice coat.
Yeah.
He is pretty good.
He pops up in everything. Like, it's Rade Serbegia. He's in a ton of movies, but
oh yeah. I've completely forgot about him, to be honest. Yeah. Oh, gee.
Well, actually, you should know, John, that Batman Begins is on Channel 5 tonight in the UK. So
I own it. I'm not watching it on TV. Jeez.
Come on, you have to have the thing. That was always a rule in my house. Any film you owned on DVD or video, once it was on TV, you had to watch it because it's like, it's on TV.
If that happened to me, I would have to go and get the DVD or the Blu-ray or something. I wouldn't watch it on the telly.
No, that was you and me.
But then you got to get up. You got to.
I'd rather get up. You're talking to a man who, for his appearance on the Cornetto Minute, I own Shaun of the Dead. It's in a box in my living room, but because I couldn't be bothered finding it in the box, I just bought it on Amazon Video.
Well, that then would indicate, though, that you should be like, well, rather than me having to physically get up to put it on the film, it's on TV. I'll just watch it now.
That's true. It works both ways. Yeah, it kind of proves both points.
Although, actually, to be fair, though, one major thing is that Channel 5 is rife with ad breaks, so you probably would be better just sticking on the actual the DVD or the Blu-ray.
With regards to this movie, I had one last thing I quite enjoyed. Because the look on Joker's face as he's caught by this...
yeah.
I don't know. What do you call it again? It's the...
I call it a bolo.
Yeah, it is something like that, isn't it? But we'll go with that.
Yeah, I tried looking up like Batman bolo, because I know it's a thing he has employed in the comics several times, and you kind of get like an updated version of it in the Arkham Origins game. He shoots out a grapple, but it ties people to other things and then has it come towards them, which is really, really fun because like you can, when you're stalking goons, you can like fire it at them and it attaches to them and then attaches to the gargoyles above them and it just lifts them up instantly from afar. It's just like it's one of the most, some of the. I defend Arkham Origins in many ways, and that's one of the big things. It's like, well, that little grapple gun thing is awesome.
Well, we'll call it a Batolo then.
Yeah.
And is the look on his face when he's caught, sort of dangling between the two things here, I thought it was absolutely hilarious. And I'm sure that rung of the ladder hits him square in the mouth.
Yeah.
It proper looks like it just hits him in the teeth. It's like, which adds to the realism to me, because that's exactly what would happen to me. Like,
Maybe that's why the hay is actually, that's actually an instinctive thing from Jack Nicholson of like hitting his mouth and like, hey, what? Ah!
It's to the crew. Hey, get this crap out of my mouth. Don't you know who I am?
And Mac McDonald.
That wasn't even an impression of him, so I don't know what I was doing.
It was like Mac McDonald's just like up in the helicopter, but for some reason it's really hanging above him. It's just like, this asshole.
Take that.
Yeah, it's him doing it for real. Like, screw you, Jack.
Yeah, I think in terms of actual notes for this minute, I think I'm out though. If unless you two guys have any other
Same.
points you want to bring up or anything.
I covered all my stuff.
Oh. But yeah, Travis, around this time we would ask the guests about their history with the movie and with Batman in general and stuff. And obviously you, a guy covering Watchmen 1 minute at a time, you and Eric Nash, of course.
Yep.
I'm just going to assume that you have a bit of an affinity for DC and potentially Batman as well. But you have the floor now if you want to go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this movie. It's like I'm sure, just like you guys, it was a part of my childhood. I remember I didn't see this in theater. I would have been 6 years old. Didn't really go to a lot of movies at that age, but I definitely remember seeing the trailer for it and being really excited when it came to VHS. And then once I owned it on VHS, like. This and the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are probably tied for like the highest number of viewings. Those VHS tapes were like in rough condition by the time I was done with them. But
kids don't know the pain of watching your favorite movie over and over and ruining it by doing so.
Yeah. But yeah, I can remember seeing this movie for the first time and just. The scene that always sticks out to me and is one of my favorite moments in cinema history is the right after they've dealt with the bad guys, Joker's men in the from the art gallery chase, and they've the Batmobile shows up and then it cuts, they take a second to breathe. And then you see the Batmobile rise over the hill and starts driving through the forest. And then Danny Elfman's, Descent in a Mystery score begins playing. And to this day, and even just right now talking about it, I start getting chills.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those scenes that's burned into my memory. And that's kind of how the whole movie is to some degree. Certain scenes, I don't really like. I don't need to watch this movie to watch this movie if it makes any sense. Like if I'm thinking about this movie, I can replay the entire sequence in my head, like with the dialogue, and I can remember the actions and everything. Like this movie is pretty much burned into my brain. So, but yeah, this is definitely one of those movies that has just always been there for me. So. That's kind of my history with Batman or Batman.
With
Batman 89.
Yeah, what's your history with Batman?
Yeah. For the longest time, this would have been my favorite Batman movie. I would say in recent years that's been replaced by Batman Begins. Just because I think it's a better Batman story. But
I think those newer ones, they're better films. Actually, I was saying this on Monday, wasn't I? Now they're better. They are better, like made movies. But there's something about these ones that I just love. The first two, obviously. The second two, interesting in their own way.
I mean, I will say, like, I was the perfect age for Batman Forever because that was 95 and I was 13, and that was everything to me.
I loved it then. Yeah, absolutely.
So.
But then I was a kid who liked Godzilla. So
I did too. I saw that movie in theaters so many times.
Oh, thank God I'm not alone. Oh. Yeah, I loved. I remember I bought the tape for Godzilla. I was buying all those movies. I had Men in Black. These are all fantastic. So those Batman movies at the time, I loved them. But I grew up with this one and Returns. So
I'm looking forward to when we cover Batman Forever because. Like I still love that movie.
Yeah,
I still defend it, but it is. I'm sure it's all because of I grew up with it so much.
Yeah,
I'm really hoping because we had one person on already who hadn't seen this movie.
Oh wow!
And her reaction to that was very like, oh, it was pretty good. But I'm just wondering, a fully formed adult coming in to watch Batman Forever for the first time and been told this is a good movie, what their reaction to it is going to be.
Well, if you need guests, for forever, let me know. So
we'll be hopefully getting everyone who wants to come back can come back.
Nice.
So
Yeah, we're stuck doing this for a good few years yet.
yeah.
But look, is there anything else you want to mention about the character in general, or is it just like that's up to?
As far as like with obviously after this, like I grew up with the animated series, and that's such a favorite of mine, and that it still holds up. I still love watching old episodes of that. The character of Batman is one that I've always kind of been a fan of. I'm more of a Spider-Man fan though, like as far as my favorite comic book character. But
That's me.
yeah. So it definitely there's just so much Batman content that you can take in that we're spoiled a little bit. So
Yeah, and different ways of doing it. So there's something for everybody, really.
yeah, and I would say more good than bad. I mean, I don't think we have a lot of bad Batman. So.
But before we do go into the dark, dark night, Travis, would you like to tell our good listeners where they can find you and your show, which will have launched by the time this airs?
Yeah. As of this recording, our pilot episode reviewing the trailer for Watchmen has already been aired. Our Minute 1 will launch February 19th, so that may have already passed by the time this episode comes out, or if not, it should be coming up pretty soon. So please, if you're into Watchmen, Eric Nash and I will be just dissecting that film, the director's cut from Zack Snyder. We'll be doing that 1 minute at a time, Monday through Friday, starting on the 19th, and then it should be a lot of fun. So hope you guys check us out over there. And that's pretty much you can, if you search Watchmen Minute. Wherever you find this podcast, I'm sure you can find us as well. We're Watchmen Minute on Facebook and Twitter, and we've got a listeners group and all that. So feel free to look us up and join us in the discussion for that. And then my other podcast is Real Comic Heroes, and on that show, my co-host Patrick and I, we've been going for like 2.5 years on that show, and we review primarily comic book movies and some other similar geeky genre movies, but we go in chronological order. So we started with Superman and the Mole Men from 1951.
Whoa, interesting.
And have been moving, like I said, chronologically based on release order since then. So we are currently in the mid-'80s, 1986. We just did Aliens, Howard the Duck.
Oh.
We're coming up on the Transformers, the movie, the animated movie.
Yes.
So we've covered quite a few genres. We've covered a lot of the Planet of the Apes and Star Trek and Star Wars and James Bond. So we've branched out from just comic books to other related genres. So, but kind of our mission over there is just to take a look at movies in order, just to kind of see how the genres have changed, how the filmmaking has changed, the effects, how they hold up, and all that. So we're having fun over there. So you can find that show just by searching Real Comic Heroes, and that's real with 2 E's. Pretty much same with Watchmen Minute. If you search that, you'll find us. So
it'll come up. It's a big show. That I heard of that before I knew you were doing Watchmen Minute.
Oh wow, right on.
Yeah, and it's all. I mean, I haven't listened to all of them from beginning to end because there's quite a lot, isn't there?
We're like 50 some episodes in. Yeah, and our first 6, we were attempting to do audio commentaries for all of our episodes, but then we quickly realized that if you start doing audio commentary, then you can't really edit, and you have to be able to fill, a 2-hour movie with 2 hours worth of content. So it was hard to kind of keep up that format. So after 6 episodes, we abandoned that and just moved on to just movie review format. So
Smart plan.
but we did do the Batman '86 movie as a audio commentary. So that one's one of our earlier episodes. So.
Hey, well, check that out, everyone. Check out the show in general because it's great, and I'm sure Watchmen's going to be wonderful as well because I am a big fan of that, both the movie and the comic.
And if you listen to those episodes, you may hear a familiar voice pop up right early on in the movie.
Stay tuned.
Who knows what wizardry awaits? But check us out as well because we are on Facebook at the Batminute 89 Listeners Society. We're on Twitter at Batminute89, and give us a review on iTunes because it would be very, very nice of you to do so. And we'll give you a shout out because we're nice too in return. And join us again on Friday because we will be back with more Batman. Minute 114, believe it or not. See you then.
Next time, stretching a Joker while grappling with a gargoyle or gravity-sensitive gangster gets to grips with his situation. But will this predicament result in a plummeting picador turned street pizza? Find out Friday. Same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute.